What's good, family? It's your boy Urban Sports Guru. Let me give you my reaction to Week 7. My reaction to Week 7, we got Denver at Cleveland on Thursday. And Cleveland was still able to win with Case Keenum. Why? Because Case Keenum does some of the same stuff. Baker Mayfield has a similar skill set as Baker Mayfield. And they can basically run the offense the same way as they did with Baker Mayfield. Different running back, whatever, but basically running a lot of the same stuff, so things don't really change as much. Some people say, oh, Baker shouldn't run back. My humble opinion, I think Baker needs to get the fuck back on the field and start playing good football. Because as long as the NFL, the longer the team sees they can play without you and win, why should I pay you? That's just my stance. That's just my stance on it. Then we got Washington, Green Bay. Green Bay basically got to beat up on a bad team. Didn't beat up on them as bad as everyone else. These as bad as everyone thought they should have, but they got to beat up on a bad team. Washington's not a good football team. They're just not. Defensively, they're not dominant like everyone hoped they would be. I knew they wouldn't because the secondary isn't good. And the offense, the fact that they have not even tried to give Cam Newton a phone call, that's where it kind of blows my mind. You haven't even made the attempt. Because now Cam will have some time with the offense, learn the playbook some. I anticipate he probably play Coach for Rivera. He would know some of it already. Just saying. Cam Newton's still out there. Just saying. Then we got the Chiefs. The Chiefs' defense is bad. They lost 27-3. It was down 24-9 at halftime. The Chiefs' defense is bad. We knew the Chiefs' defense was bad, and it's like Derrick Henry finishes the game with 86 yards. Basically workmanlike, but the Chiefs' defense is just bad, and it makes me think about where they were just a few years ago. Because they used to win games with defense. A defense that basically kept you out of the end zone, gave you some yards, but it kept you out of the end zone. They had guys like Tom Bradley, Justin Houston, Doc Terry Poe, and Eric Berry. They were pretty good on the defensive side of the ball with Alex Smith. And that last year with Alex Smith, he wasn't really that good. But they had this wonder kid at quarterback who was a rookie showing out in practice, and the next year he becomes starter. The rest is history. The Chiefs need to find a way to get back to that kind of style of football because the defense is really, really bad, and this Patrick Mahomes is doing a lot of dumb shit that he normally doesn't do. A lot of dumb shit that he was able to correct in that one year. Forgive me. That 1 year that he basically sat on the bench. Because these are the things that people said about him in college. This was the critique about him in college. The rifle of an arm, you can click to see an old video on him. It's pro day. His pro day, he throws the ball 90 yards, something like that. He throws a football damn near 90 yards. So, he's always had a cannon. But the book on him was some Superman trying to make Superman throws in the game, and he throws stupid picks. And this is what I'm seeing out of him now. If they were losing shootouts, then I could solely blame the defense, but they're not losing shootouts. And he's throwing dumb interceptions. So, as bad as the defense is playing, he's also at times looking that bad. And Andy Reid, fix this shit. Steve Spagnuolo, do something. Now we have Atlanta getting a win against Miami because they have that young tight end and no one could just cover. I said he's going to be Darren Waller 2.0. And he's already looking like it. Teams are putting corners on him. Don't matter. Can't cover the guy one-on-one. He's just too big, too strong, too fast. I mean, quiet as kept. Atlanta's what, 3-3? Atlanta's 3-3. Think about that. I mean, New England beats up on the Jets. And I feel sorry for Robert Salah. I'm not going to say he's in over his head because he did what he had to do to earn a head coaching job. But he's really, so far, because like this, just suppose what you're seeing in Detroit. Look at what you're seeing in Detroit with Dan Campbell. You see that team fighting. You see that team playing hard. You see some ineffective quarterback play, but look how hard that team is playing. I'm not seeing this with the Jets. His thing is defense, being a former defensive coordinator. I'm not seeing stout defense out of this team. You don't want to judge him after 6-7 games. Give him a draft or two, but right now, it's not looking good. It isn't. It's not looking good. My Giants come up with a big win, as I picked, against Carolina. So much so that Sam Darnold got benched. Now, just when I'm getting ready to get rid of Daniel Jones, he wasn't like lights out in this game, but Daniel Jones does certain things that for me makes me appreciate him as a football player. But the question is, can I appreciate him as my quarterback? Like when I see him on that trick play, go all out as a quarterback to make that catch. Let's see that athletic of a play from the quarterback, much like last year when I saw the long run. Yeah, he stumbled. The Giants still scored a touchdown on that drive, so we didn't miss anything. Sometimes I just feel when I watch him like he's this close to really breaking out in a way where he's never looking back. And then I see games like against the Rams where it's like, who the fuck is this guy? Get him off the field. It's a good win playing against a team like Carolina that's very good defensively. And because they moved the ball up and down the field, but it kept having stupid ass penalties. So he played well. Utilized the weapons that were available. Sam Darnold got benched, and wow. He got benched, and all I can say is wow. Like, he looked bad. I understand Christian McCaffrey's not there, and that's one of the big things that's hurting him because he's never played with a great running game. Give him Christian McCaffrey, a healthy Christian McCaffrey, helps you out with the running game, but also check downs. But Sam Darnold, they were my surprise pick to go to the playoffs. All is not lost. But damn, he looked bad. Then we had what Cincinnati did to Baltimore. And here's the thing that jumps out to me. I'm not surprised at the connection between him and Joe Burrow. The first thing that sticks out to me is how good was that LSU team? Because Jamar Chase, look what he's doing with Joe Burrow. Look what Justin Jefferson did last year as a rookie. Think that's who Joe Burrow had at receiver at LSU. That's the first thing that stuck out to me. Second thing that stuck out to me is Cincinnati's defense. As I told y'all, has been lights out. And once again, having Lamar inside the pocket, this is a game having him inside the pocket against a great defense Orleans going great, but a damn good defense had a game plan ready for him. Okay, you want to stay in the pocket? We're gonna make you look bad, because this is where we want you, and they made him look bad. They did. I'm seeing now all of a sudden Cincinnati looks like a playoff team. And this is something I expected out of them next season. I expected this at the end of the season, then the next season looking like this. I expected early this year, like the first half of the season, him playing into comfortability. Mind you, he's just coming off an ACL injury. Didn't even start his whole rookie campaign. But to see all this now, Cincinnati got something. They got something. I'm behind that. They really got something. For them to be able to go into Baltimore, understand so much of what Baltimore has to do is predicated on Lamar Jackson. But guess what? Even with all of those receivers, it's still the same thing. Lamar is like a basketball player who can only play with the ball in his hands. It's kind of like, it's not a perfect correlation, but kind of like a Russell Westbrook in LA. Russell Westbrook can only do his thing if he has the ball in his hands. Same thing with Lamar. So no matter who is around him, he's still gonna play the same way. The offense still is only working well with him doing his thing. That's just the way the offense works. So just because the other skill position guys and running backs aren't there, at the end of the day, Lamar's gonna be Lamar. Bottom line. And he ran against a defense that was good enough to, okay, it's one man show. All right, not this week. So that's what stuck out to me at that game. Then you had Philly at Vegas. Philly coming off a bye, and their defense disappointed me. I expected this to be a shootout, and it was an 11-point game. To be honest with you, it wasn't really never competitive. Never really competitive, in my opinion. It wasn't competitive. Vegas looks damn good. They're looking even better now since getting rid of John Gruden. That's saying something because I was a fan of John Gruden. God bless him. I mean, Jared Goff Bowl went as expected with the Lions playing tough. I don't remember what the spread was, but they won by 8. I think the spread was 10. So the spread was 10. Like I told you, Detroit, they bust spreads left and right. They do. They just bust up spreads left and right. But the Rams do what they do, man. Matthew Stafford do well, though, for well over 300 yards. And one thing that just sticks out to me is I don't know what is it about Matt Stafford, but the second he's on a team, all of a sudden you don't have a running game. I mean, all those years in Detroit, I think he had 1,000-yard rusher. One. And the Rams, okay, you don't have Todd Gurley anymore, but they had the other running back, and they had a nice 1-2 punch. They could run the football, and he's hurt. And if there's one thing that concerns me about the Rams is A, the ability to run the football defensively, their run defense. Those are the two things that concern me. I'm saying Arizona beat up on Houston because everybody beats up on Houston because they're bad. Arizona still, you have the worst team in the league playing against the best team in the league. And Arizona, basically, I call them get right games. 31-5, that's a get right game. They did what they're supposed to do. Now, Tampa beat up on a rookie quarterback. I gotta be honest, and I posted this during the game. Wasn't it Matt Nagy that said Justin Fields wasn't ready? Justin Fields looked like a quarterback that wasn't ready. Justin Fields looks like a quarterback that cannot read defenses. He cannot read protections. He cannot read blitzes. I mean, because Tampa blatantly kept sending blitzes to his blind side. because a lot of times he wasn't seeing them coming blatantly. So Cinnabus's blindside, the right tackle is horrible. He's getting beat like a redhead stepchild. He's getting this side. He's a sitting duck, and it just kept leading to turnovers. And it's crazy because Tom Brady's. I saw an interview that Tom Brady did. He's asking the question about how the physicality was taken out of football, and it's crazy looking at it. When I watch Tom Brady play with all these weapons, okay, I mean, he's playing with so many studs. It's guys that get double teamed on any other team. And he's playing with so many of them. Mike Evans gets double teamed. Godwin will get double teamed. The AB will get double teamed. OJ Howard will get double teamed. Gronk will get double teamed. Brake is a good second tight end. Like, he had so many options. And a lot of times it looks like he's playing 7-on-7. You can't get too physical with the receivers. You can't touch him at quarterback. You have Tom Brady, the quarterback, saying this, like, yo, they taking the physicality out of football. He flat out saying that the touchdown he threw to Mike Evans, that slant, that skinny post, he said 10 years ago, I'm not making that throw because the safety would have, in so many words, in paraphrase, he said the safety would have beat him, would have blew him up. And he's right. And that's the thing that, like, people talk about so much about how much they're not running the ball enough. Tampa can run the football. They're not Pittsburgh, last year's Pittsburgh team, who couldn't run the football and got exposed because of their lack of physicality. Tampa can be physical offensively. They can run the football. It's just, hey, you got the goat. Let them rip. You got the GOAT and a whole bunch of targets. Let them go. They're a scary football team because what can happen is their offense is so good and they can put you in positions where you only have to pass. Now, their run defense is so good, they forces you to only pass. But it's one thing to be forced to only pass and the game is tight. So, okay, don't give up big plays, da-da-da. And they're not good with that all the time. The secondary can be had. But when they put you in a position where you have to pass and you're down 2 scores, then that secondary looks a whole lot better. A whole lot better when they're playing with a lead. I'm just saying, like, Tampa's a serious team, though. Serious team. A very, very serious team. The Champs are something really to mess with. And I picked Indy over the Colts because, as I anticipated, Jimmy G wouldn't look good. He would not look good. He did not. Carson Wentz is actually looking better and better every week. And it's getting closer and closer to that time where they're going to have to put the rookie in. At least they feel they're going to have to put the rookie in. And this is a team that said is in flux because you have a Super Bowl ready roster. You have a Super Bowl ready roster. But the QB situation isn't there. So they're in flux. It's a shame, but that's a talented football team. See, it's about next year, maybe the year after. Maybe then will they still have the same defense? Let's see. Then rounded out, we had the Saints beating Seattle. Seattle, like, for me, is like the mighty have fallen. The mighty have fallen. The defense, they've had ample time to get that defense back in order since the Legion of Boom. And they have not. And what made the Legion of Boom special is that they hit on late round picks. Sherman was a 4th round pick. Cam Chancellor wasn't a high round pick. Earl Thomas was a 1st round pick. But you had other guys that weren't high round picks. So they hit. And it's hard to do that with stars. Not with just guys who can play. with stars. Really difficult thing to do. But my thing is, you have ample time to at least get guys who can start on other teams. When I look at players on that defense, you still have Bobby Wagner, who's probably the best middle linebacker in football. But I look at that defense and I see a bunch of guys that are not starting on other places. They're not. They're not. So the fact that it's dropped that much, great defense, to can at least be a respectable defense. That's where just try to get it there, but they got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. That's my take for week 7. Pay attention to the next videos coming. It's your boy, Urban Sports Guru. I'm out. Salute.